the neocons in Washington, D.C., are actively trying to get President Trump to go to war with Iran. Israel, of course, would love nothing more than to make that happen. They got the United States to go along and go into Iraq and go into Libya. They would love nothing more from the third leg of that stool to be Iran.
Listen, we are much closer to going to war with Iran than the average American on the street realizes. And let's be frank, the Israelis want to retain their monopoly when it comes to nuclear weapons in the region. I mean, if they were really concerned about preventing Iran or any other state from using a nuclear weapon in the region, well, then they would sign up for the nuclear-free zone in the Middle East. Everybody else in the region will sign up for it, but the Israelis certainly won't because they want that nuclear weapon. If they don't have it, they can't bully their neighbors with impunity. We know that about 80% of the Israelis are literally 100% behind what Mr. Netanyahu is doing. But there's something else we have to address. And that is, does the president of the United States, Donald Trump, have the strength to resist the pressure? You know, my limited experience with him is that he doesn't. It's not that his instincts aren't good. It's not that anybody who meets him doesn't like him. It's not that his intentions are not well met. That has nothing to do with it. But you put a lot of pressure on him. He has a bad habit of wiggling and ultimately caving to political pressure. And right now, let's be frank, Mr. Netanyahu controls far, far more senators in the Senate than Mr. Trump does. Who put Trump into the White House? Who backs him? Who subsidizes him? And who is pushing and pressuring him? We got to be frank about this. It's the Israel lobby, and they have enormous power and influence, and he can't ignore it. And so I don't have confidence that he can resist this. And the other thing that I have worried about from the beginning is that Mr. Netanyahu will find another way to start the war. Even if he's got to launch the strikes himself, which he can do, he can blame it on a false flag of some kind. He could point to some incident. Who knows? But he knows that if he can get this thing started, we are going to come to his aid. He knows that President Trump will not stand idly by and let the world fall apart in Israel. Quite the contrary. So it's not just a question of President Trump making the decision. It's what is he inclined to do because of the pressures on him. We talk about Iran today in terms that the Israelis define because the Israelis want us to believe that nothing has changed in 46 years. It's been 46 years since the revolution. You know, Iran is a different society. It's a different place. The Iranians have absolutely no interest in killing Jews. Sorry, they don't.
And it's such a crazy propaganda to me because we know that Israel has nukes. We know that they've been torturing their whistleblowers for 2 decades for telling that to the world. And Israel is the aggressor right now against innocent civilians. So there is an aggressive nation that does have nukes. And we're like, you're cool over there. We're going to go look in that guy's backyard and start a war. Is that okay? This is insane.
Well, people are asking every day, why is it that the Egyptian army sitting on the border with Israel doesn't intervene to rescue the Palestinians? I mean, after all, they have an interest in saving the lives of the people in Gaza. Why aren't they doing anything? Well, there's a simple answer. Because they know privately they've been threatened if they do such a thing, the Israelis will use a low-yield nuclear weapon to destroy the Aswan Dam. And if the Aswan Dam is destroyed, you're looking at millions of people whose lives are going to be ruined and probably millions who will lose their lives as a result of the Nile flooding into Upper Egypt. There's a lot more. There's a lot more to all of this than any of us realize. You know, Israel seems to almost have become an anarchistic state because clearly what they're doing is not defensive. It's clearly offensive. They seem to be interested in doing everything in their power to destroy their neighbors and shake whatever foundations for political stability and financial stability exist in the region.
Can you tell me why so many people are so convinced that Iran has nefarious intentions towards the United States with a nuclear weapon? Because we have read the IAEA reports. I read the demon who worked for the Obama administration's book, The Art of Sanctions, who talked about the cold clinical suffering that he inflicted on the Iranian people, despite never having. Obama looked for 8 years for proof of a nuclear program and never found it. So Why are people sold this load of garbage that Iran has a nuclear weapon that will reverberate on us?
Can I just also say, when Tucker posted that in his piece, he said that if you think that Iran has a nuclear weapons program, you're lying, or what he said, you're being dishonest.
Right, and all the comments are like, "Yeah, they do. I know this." But how do these road warriors on X know this?
You have this thing called right wing watch. Somebody was telling me about it the other day. I've experienced this. I'm sure you had to some extent, where the algorithms are organized on Google to suppress people they don't like, who express opinions that they don't agree with. We need to look behind all of that and identify the people that are behind it, and then you have your answer.